Hello, could you briefly introduce your group and the space you operate in?
Hello, it's Jacinta Barker here. I'm the operations manager for RISE Fourth Valley. And RISE is an acronym for Racial Inclusion Supporting Empowerment. And we're based in Palmont at the moment, but operating in the whole Fourth Valley region. And we have our three programs. We have the Carers Project and the Parents Project, and then also the Young People's Project. So these are the three main programs that we are operating at the moment.
What climate positive actions is your group currently involved in? For example, recycling, events, education.
We've been doing a lot of recycling, and especially parents and young people. It's been the practice for quite a long time now, in terms of awareness in relation to climate change and everything. But we're very fortunate enough to manage to access funding from Fort Valley Climate Action Hub to deliver bespoke environmental leadership for Black and ethnic minority women, which I'm hoping to run comes February, March, and April.
That's amazing. Why is your work important for your community?
It's very well documented that the environmental sector is predominantly white, and this is us, trying to change the not just the climate, but also the face of climate, the whole environmental climate space, because in terms of inclusion, in terms of decision making, we're not people from ethnic minority background are not really present around the table. And this is the kind of shift that we're trying to improve and change. And I know that we cannot create leaders and develop leaders in 6 week sessions. So we're hoping to have a phase two after the 6 weeks program is over. Because as I said, we need to strengthen and build the capacity of our people so that they can be strong enough to sit around the table and present ideas and be part of the conversation and challenge decisions.
How can the community get involved with your climate action work?
Well, we have a membership kind of process, but anybody in the community who would like to take part is most welcome. And if there's any specific need that you have that you're needing help and support, like if you're a parent, if you're a carer, if you're a young person experiencing difficulties living in the community, then you're most welcome to come and be part of our organization.
Can you share a recent success or a proud moment from your project?
Yes, we recently celebrated the Black History Month in October, and we managed to get some funding from Climate Action Hub again, and we did it in partnership with them. So we had um, we had a lot of events or a lot of activities during that time. So we had stalls from different backgrounds. There were people were selling jewelries and food and everything. There were about 10, 11 stalls during the event. And we also had Councillor Graham Campbell, who's based in Glasgow, and I gave him the chance and the opportunity to speak and share the importance of yoke back in the day. He demonstrated the use of it and how humiliating and degrading it is for people back in the day, and even up to this date. Slavery is still happening to this day, but obviously in a different form. So that was one of the big success that we recently have. But over the months, we've done a lot of different projects and for all the programs that we have, so it's always been a success.
What are your hopes for making your project more inclusive in the future?
I think more engagement and participation, and we mentioned earlier in terms of resources. Funding is very, very crucial, especially for small organization like ours. Funding is always a challenge, and we're doing all the work, and yet at the end of the day, it's our funding that goes first. It's the first thing that gets cut.
Are there any challenges you are working on to improve?
And well, it's always a challenge engaging people to be around the table to have a conversation and for them to really pay attention and listen and to implement those change rather than just, oh, all right, okay, and not do anything about it. And I'm the kind of person who speaks my mind, and I don't mince my words. I say it as it is. I don't beat around the bush. So, and I don't have any problems in engaging people and in a difficult conversation. Sometimes I have to force them to engage in a conversation for them to realize that yes, you're not doing your jobs, so you better listen.
What messages of hope or encouragement would you share with other groups working to become more inclusive?
um Forget about sameness, Make sure that when you have the policies, because most of them will have the policies in place. When you ask them, do you have ADI policy, anti-racist policy, they would say that yes, we have all those policies. But for me, I would say that yes, you might have all these good policies, but what about the practice? How do you deliver them? And then also when people talk about having all these policies and yet you don't see any representation from your own ethnic background, so then for me it's a red flag. That I always doubt people, and I came across with organizations claiming to be an inclusive organization, and then present me with a leaflet, and then I don't see my face in that leaflet. So it shows you the huge disconnect of what they're saying and what they're doing in practice and in reality.
Thank you
So
so much for all your time, and it's been very valuable. Thank you.